sensational news. Another victory for the armed forces of Ukraine. Ukrainian soldiers are once again rewriting the rules of combat. Powerful, swift, and unexpected strikes. The initiative is entirely on the side of the defenders. Assault units are liberating settlements. Drone operators and new technologies are making history on the battlefield. Naval systems and air defense are neutralizing threats. The enemy is feeling the pressure, chaos reigns, supply lines are disrupted, and the occupiers are surrendering as prisoners. And this is just the beginning. Victory is near. All the details right now. Welcome to Ukraine Today. I'm Sumy, and these are the latest news. Another victory for the armed forces of Ukraine. Ukrainian soldiers continue to confidently take the initiative into their own hands. The village of Sychneve in the Dnipropetrovsk region was liberated from Russian occupiers by our defenders. Fighters from the Shkval assault unit eliminated about 50 invaders and captured another 8. The brigade showed footage of the successful assault actions of Ukrainian soldiers during the liberation of the village of Sychneve from the occupiers. Let's take a look. Continues, and the enemy's weapon is turning against him. In the area of responsibility of the 7th Course of Daghav, Ukrainian drone operators have, for the first time, destroyed an enemy ground robotic complex NRTK courier equipped with an automatic grenade launcher AGS-17. The occupiers tried to hide and attack from a distance, but the drone operators of the 32nd Separate Mechanized Brigade spotted the threat and struck it with FPV drones. Another technological defeat for the enemy is another step toward victory. Minokshche Trishakeda. The Ukrainian Navy showed how the Mistral anti-aircraft missile systems operate at full capacity. Equipment originally designed for helicopters and airplanes is now also taking down enemy drones. As the military says, thanks to the coordinated work of the team and the training of the operators, 3 deadly enemy drones were destroyed in just one shift. The professionalism of the operators and the reliability of the French system leave the enemy with no chance. Ukrainian defense works precisely, efficiently, and lethally. Stay tuned for more. They drink water from puddles. Thanks to the armed forces of Ukraine, the Russians have been cut off from supplies in the Sumy region. The enemy hasn't received water for 8 days now. The northern group in Yunakivka is left without experienced officers who are sitting 20 kilometers from the front line. They don't evacuate the wounded or the dead. The offensive in the Sumy and Kharkiv regions has failed. On the Kupiansk direction, the enemy isn't even trying to cross the Oskil River with inflatable boats or rafts. Ukrainian drones and strategy are working flawlessly. The enemy is left without supplies, without experience, and without a chance. They've run out of stories to tell. Artillerymen destroyed a relic that survived Stalin, but not the armed forces of Ukraine. During counter-battery combat, the 55th Brigade discovered a Soviet ML-20 howitzer, the very same one that was produced even before World War II. During counter-battery combat, our units detect and destroy genuine relics. You can see it in the video. A direct hit, a detonation, and the old artillery no longer threatens our positions. Let's take a look at how it happened. The drone saddled the Bug M3. The Ukrainian FPV drone landed right on the enemy's launch and loading vehicle. It rode on it for 15 kilometers, self-destructed, and blew it up together with the rockets.
Such destruction of the enemy is a combination of technical skill, coordinated work by the operators, and a keen sense of timing. Craft becomes art, and art becomes a weapon of our victory.
This is not just a drone. It's a deadly machine for the enemy. And Ukrainian operators have shown how technology works for victory. The National Guard published the video of this incredible operation. He surrendered during the first assault. The armed forces of Ukraine captured a 22-year-old Indian national. The Indian citizen voluntarily surrendered to Ukrainian soldiers during the first assault. The young man went to fight in Russia's war against Ukraine to avoid imprisonment. The Indian man, named Majoti, said that he was studying at a university in Russia. However, he was later sentenced to 7 years in prison for drugs. After that, the guys offered him to sign a contract with the Russian army to avoid punishment. At the same time, he was promised large cash payments, but he never received anything at all.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
According to Majoti, he wanted to escape from there. The Indian man claims that after 16 days of military training, he was sent to the front. However, just 3 days later, he quarreled with the commander and surrendered himself to the Ukrainian soldiers.
I approached the Ukrainian dugout, put down my weapon, and said that I didn't want to fight. I didn't kill anyone. I didn't do anything bad to anyone. I was only at the front for 3 days. I didn't want to fight. I wanted to escape.
However, fierce fighting continues on the front line. The armed forces of Ukraine are delivering precise strikes on enemy bases, destroying equipment and enemy personnel. Our units are advancing on key directions and are gradually strengthening the front line. The situation is very dynamic. Every day, new information and new changes emerge, and we keep you updated on the main developments. The latest successes of the Ukrainian military and the losses of the Russian army. Coming up in this episode.
In the southern Slobozhansky direction, border guards, Strix UAV operators, are destroying the enemy. This time they added to their tally by striking vehicles, shelters, a communications antenna, and a waiting drone. The soldiers of the 41st Mechanized Brigade left some surprises for the enemy on their routes during the night. In the morning, the enemy's armored vehicles advanced to storm and ran into traps. Those who survived the initial strike were finished off by our guys. On the Kupiansk sector, drones from the Niazivska Brigade hit a Russian T-62 tank, a buggy and electronic warfare system, and neutralized several enemy soldiers. The defenders of Kupiansk are preparing to mercilessly greet uninvited guests. At the moment, they are conducting sweeps to clear out the occupiers who managed to infiltrate the city. Behind the sniper group commander's back are dozens of battles and hundreds of precise shots. Among the confirmed videos is one at a distance of 2,136 meters.
We know all of the roads. We are fully aware of where it is best for us to go, so that we absolutely will not be seen. And we know the escape routes, so we no longer need to look for a way to evacuate a wounded comrade if something happens.
A UAV operated by an operator from the Fennec unit of the Vengeance Brigade skillfully flies between the branches to eliminate an occupier. They destroyed the drone control point. The UAVs of the assault troops don't let the Russians hide. Even in cover, the UAV drone will find them in the tree lines, and in open terrain, it will stop the enemy with drops. Fighters of the 3rd Army Corps broke through Russian positions on the outskirts of the village of Hrikivka. These shots are from a GoPro camera. The command post spotted an enemy dugout with occupiers inside. The soldiers carefully avoid the mined bushes. After clearing the area with grenades, the invader comes out with his hands up.
Throw out your weapons. Come out! On your knees. You'll go home.
In the Lyman direction, pilots from the Sychneve battalion targeted camouflaged enemy artillery positions. 4 of them were turned into scrap. They also took out a motorcycle, as reported by the mercenary, a Neva, and a group of Russians in the forest. The mortar crews of the 115th Separate Mechanized Brigade repel up to 16 assaults per day and keep the enemy at a distance.
After disabling their equipment, the enemy scatters, but that's when we can act on command 333. That's our favorite command, and all of this is our weaponry. At the same time, when the sergeant major gives the command, for example, he issues the order, and then all the mortars, all the commanders fire simultaneously. The enemy has almost no chance of survival if we reach them.
The crew of the large bomber drone from the 63rd Brigade helps the infantry hold their positions. In addition, they destroy enemy shelters and mine the approaches to their own positions.
Since it's now very difficult to reach the positions both by vehicle and on foot, we deliver medical supplies. We also deliver provisions or ammunition or carry out mining operations. It's anything the guys on the positions might need as long as it's within the range of what's allowed at the front.
In the skies over Sivershkina, the 45th Artillery Brigade continues its tireless fight against the Russians. Drone operators have destroyed aerial targets such as Lancets, Molnia Zala, and Supercam drones. On the Kramatorsk section of the front, fighters from the 5th Assault Brigade disabled enemy artillery, hit personnel in a shelter and 2 guns, and struck a mortar. In the Pokrovsk direction, the Phoenix border guards neutralized a heavy flamethrower system called Sontsipiv, and in the Lyman and Turetsky sectors, they targeted enemy manpower, vehicles, and key logistical support targets. A web of fiber optic cables has completely entangled the area. Operators from the Rubish Brigade captured the unique features of the wartime Indian summer around Pokrovsk. Each thin cable leads to a deadly FPV drone. Pokrovsk is increasingly turning into ruins. The Russians are leveling it to the ground with bombs every day. On the southern front lines, the forest is defended by the 155th Mechanized Brigade. Scout Burston says that sometimes it takes several hours to cover 700 meters in a targeted area because it's a journey through a zone of drone strikes.
From what I've heard, they want to take Pokrovsk like they plan to take Kyiv in 3 days. Yeah, they don't dig in much, but somehow it works out for them. Our pilots clear them out and strike back.
The 110th Mechanized Brigade, named after Marko Bezrushko, has refuted yet another lie from Russian propaganda about the capture of the village of Verbov. An enemy sabotage and reconnaissance group infiltrated there. Our defenders cleared the settlement of occupiers. Tetiana Litvin believes in our fighters. More details in the Marathon News Update.
His mortar was destroyed by enemy shelling, but he replaced it and kept firing at the enemy because the infantry couldn't wait. The Guardsmen held the defense near a small village in Donetsk region for 3 months. Watch more about his combat path and service in the National Guard next.
It is a very bad sign when a mortar operator can see the enemy directly. His task is to support the actions of the infantry.
The chief sergeant of the mortar platoon recalls his rotation to the east with everything still fresh in his memory.
It was the settlement of Mera Lyubivka at that time. We held it until the end of our rotation. In that direction, the enemy did not advance until the end of our rotation. It was an 82mm KBA-48. It was used frequently, roughly 100 to 150 shells per day.
We had to hold the defense for 3 months. During that time, we destroyed more than one enemy position. However, the results of the mortar team's work on the Tishinska Guards were seen and confirmed only by our drone operators.
Visually, we don't observe the results of our own work. So all of this just hit all the shelters. The mortar has this advantage. It can hit the enemy in cities, in trenches, in bunkers, in folds of the terrain, the places where, let's say, other types of weapons either can't reach or have difficulty reaching. Either it's difficult or it's simply impossible to hit the enemy there.
Mortarmen are the #1 target for the enemy, Igor says, so they often got return fire.
Shelling there was almost constant. My crew went down. I went out to get the ammunition and just carried it to the mortar. And right at the spot where everyone was, that's where a shell landed. There was no sound of the outgoing shot at all. It was just a split-second whistle and half the house was gone. Or it was a tank firing.
Then, Horny recalls, none of the soldiers were hurt, but the mortar was destroyed.
The faulty mortar was carefully replaced, and then, literally just about 4 hours later, we were back to working again. The infantry can't wait.
Ihor mastered artillery weapons during the full-scale invasion. Before that, he only had experience with small arms, since he had spent 20 years guarding one of the region's critically important facilities. That's where the big war caught us on duty.
On the 24th, we were going on duty. We arrived as scheduled, and that's when the war began. We took over the facilities for security and reinforced our positions.
Now Ihor is in his native Khmelnytsky region. Here the soldiers are training. The enemy is constantly changing tactics, so the mortar crews are always improving their skills as well.
In demanding combat conditions, there are a great many practical life hacks that are often invented on the fly by soldiers and personnel. Many of these ingenious solutions, let's say, are not explicitly detailed in official regulations or standard textbooks, especially considering that the very nature of modern warfare is changing very, very quickly and at an unprecedented pace.
The staff sergeant considers the defense of Ukraine to be his duty, and he is glad that all the guys returned from the front unharmed.
If we receive the official order to proceed into the designated combat zone, we are absolutely ready and prepared.
From Khmelnytsky region, Snizhana Sidoruk, Mikola Vasilyuk, Podrobici, Inter-TV channel Marathon United News.
How do you assess the resilience and unbreakable spirit of Ukrainian soldiers on the front line? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video and stay with us so you don't miss the most important updates. There is even more important news ahead. See you in the next episode.